Hello guys and welcome back. In the previous videos, we've seen how to configure a single device from a Python script. Now it's time to show you how to automate the configuration of multiple devices. I've built this topology with 3 routers and I want to enable the OSPF routing protocol on each router. I've chosen OSPF randomly. Instead of OSPF, you can configure anything you wish. We'll start configuring a single router and then we'll see how to do it for all routers in the topology. There's a working connection to each router, so before starting this lab, I advise you to check the SSH access to the router using PuTTY. Let's see what are the required commands in order to enable the OSPF routing protocol. First, I'll execute the commands in PuTTY and then I'll copy the same commands into the Python script. I'm connecting to the first router using PuTTY. Its IP address is 10.1.1.10. This is the first router. Username Yuan and password Cisco. And I'm in. So the first command is enable to enter the enable mode. The password is Cisco. Then I'm entering the global configuration mode, configure terminal or conft. And I'm starting the OSPF routing protocol, router, OSPF, and a process ID, let's say 1. And I'm starting OSPF on all interfaces and connected networks. So net 0.0.0.0, 0.0.0.0 area 0, the backbone area. Okay, that's all. And I want to see that OSPF was started. So show IP protocols. Okay. OSPF1 was enabled. Perfect. These are the commands that will be sent from Python. For the moment, I am disabling OSPF. I want to enable it from the Python script. So now router OSPF1. Let's return to PyCharm and start from this template. I'm connected to the router and I have an active shell. And at the end, I'm closing the connection. As we've already seen, to send a command, we have to call the send method of the shell object. Shell.send, and the first command was enable to enter the enable mode. At the end of each command, there should be a \n. Keep this in mind. Then I'm sending the password, the enable password, Cisco. This isn't a command, it's the password. The next command is conft or configure terminal. I'm starting the routing protocol, OSPF. And then net 0.0.0.0, 0.0.0.0, and area 0. We don't focus on OSPF, but on Python programming. Then end. And I'm also sending a show command. I want to see that OSPF was started. So terminal length 0, I want to see the entire output. And show IP protocols. And I'll also add time.sleep and 2 seconds. I want the script to wait for the router to finish executing the commands. I'm taking the output and printing it out. Shell.recv of, let's say, 10,000 bytes. .decode. I'm decoding on the same line. I'm decoding from bytes to string and print output. I'm running the script. Perfect. See how it has sent the commands. These are the commands. And this is the output of show IP protocols command. So OSPF was enabled, was started. We've just configured OSPF on the first router, on this one. Let's see how to multiply the configuration for all routers in the topology. I'm creating a dictionary for each device. Each device has its own IP address and its credentials. This is router 1. This is router 2. And I'm changing the IP address. The second router has an IP address that ends in 20, and the last one, the third router, has an IP address that ends in 30. In this example, I'm connecting to the routers using the same username and password, but there is no problem if each router has its own unique user and password. Just use them accordingly. The next step is to create a Python list that contains the dictionaries. So routers equals, and this is a list. Router 1 is the first element, router 2 the second, and router 3 the last element of the list. Now, when you want to execute the same repetitive task, you usually use a for loop. So let's iterate over the routers list. For router in routers, colon, and I'm indenting the below code. This piece of code. I'm selecting it and pressing on tab. And that's all. It will execute this piece of code for each router in the routers list. Let's run the script. It's connecting to the first device. It's connecting to the second device and the output, and the third router. So all routers have been configured. That's all. We've automated the OSPF configuration on all devices in our topology. Now, if instead of 3 routers, you have 100 routers that must be configured, you just add the other routers to the list. Here. Thank you.